couldn't have practiced that better, Harlis. What a great segue to one of our last topics today, when you talk about salaries and are they competitive, and how are we doing attracting talent, not only athletically, but coaching wise, coaching staff wise, et cetera. Tell me about this. You and I had a conversation back at the convention about this new venture that you're on called Coaches Central. I've seen a few different Twitter posts and things like that as well. Tell me more about what this is and why you're doing it, why you're leading this.
Yeah. So we start thinking about our initial conversation about what's good for the program, right? We're trying to give every coach a voice in the industry, right? So there are thousands of track and field coaches out there that are doing exceptional jobs. And I saw that when I moved Northeast. So it's a whole new region of the country for me, a lot of new schools. And I'm watching these young coaches out there say, wow, who is this coach? And they did this, they have these accomplishments. They're doing phenomenal jobs. But if I had not been here at Colgate, I would have never known some of these new young coaches exist. So we started thinking about it on a global scale. There are tons of talented coaches that are simply invisible in the marketplace. So most of the time when we get ready to hire coaches, I only see the coaches that are in my limited network. But what about the other talented coaches out there, equally talented, that are willing and want to have new opportunities that I can't see? So we started looking at the LinkedIn model. But said, that's a really good model, but it covers way too much. It's too broad. We wanted to develop something that was specifically for collegiate athletics. And now that includes coaches, that includes compliance directors, includes academic advisors, anybody that works specifically in collegiate athletics, giving those people a voice. So a lot of times when we're doing if I call you and I'm looking for a distance coach, you say, hey, college, you might want to look at John, right? So I'm going to go on John's school's website. I'm going to do a Google, say, who is this guy? But when you're looking at that information, John has no input in that. There's no voice. So Google might be updated, might be some old articles. But what I really want to do with Coaches Central is give us a place for John to share with us what he'd want us to know. This is who I am. These are my values. This is my work history. These are some of the athletes that I've worked with. I wanted John's voice. And I wanted to be able to meet these people that are outside of my network so that I can have a more comprehensive pool when I'm trying to interview, when I'm trying to fill positions. And it sounded like a really simple idea, and it is at heart. It's just giving everybody a chance to tell their own story. But we've been 3 years in developing it. So it's been working with engineers, working with the website, trying to get everything to work the right way. And we finally got it ready, and we're anxious to push it out to the market. So it's really just trying to give everybody a voice.
Is it more or less the marketplace, so what jobs are open, or more of what you mentioned, that LinkedIn model, more of the professionalism? And I even almost heard like making your resume live, like you get to, because I've seen, I went and poked around, of course, and I've seen like where you can add videos, like your own videos to it and things like that. So it's almost like a multimedia resume, and not just this static, here's a resume of John, and I don't really know much besides the name of the school or something.
Yeah. So there's a big move for name, image, and likeness now out there for student athletes, and have a chance to sort of brand themselves and tell their whole stories. So with Coaches Central, not only are you getting the raw data, this is my work experience, these are my accolades, but there's actually a video introduction and opportunities for you to add additional videos. So if you had 5 minutes with the person making the hire, this is what you wanted to say. This is who I am. And it's giving you that chance to present yourself in a professional format on a platform that's dedicated specifically to athletics, so it doesn't get lost out there.
Is this geared more towards job seekers or job hirers?
It can work for both. We talked to some people that says, well, do I need Coaches Central if I already have a job, if I'm not looking for a job? And the answer is yes, because even though you're not looking, it's not like you don't want to be seen, right? So if there are other opportunities that you're qualified for, you want to be visible. and maybe there's a new offer that entices you that you weren't thinking about. The other part of it is in creating your Coach Essential profile, you're telling your own story. So when I say, well, who is Mike? I'm not limited to what the website says, not limited to what Google says. It's you saying, hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. And it's you controlling your own brand will give you a chance to do that. So whether you're looking for a position or you're not looking for a position, you want to be able to control your brand, how you're seen, and your reputation in the market. Because right now you are what Google says you are, or you are what if I call Mike, you are who Mike says you are.
Right.
And this gives you the opportunity to take control of it and tell your own story.
I love busting myths. And we talked about one earlier about, the assistant coach who doesn't get the head coaching job and the other guy comes in and he's automatically out because he also applied for the job. I love we busted that myth. Another myth that we have out there is all jobs and go check out our friends at letsrun.com on their coaching message. It's the only one I read every year, and 90% of it is tomfoolery, but there's 10% good in that one thread. But if you were to believe that, you would believe that every single track, and we're talking track coaching specifically here, job is already filled before it's put out there. That's bupkis, by the way, but that's the myth that it is who you know that gets you the job. Does this help with the expansion of, if I'm a head coach hiring, instead of only knowing my box and the people that I know, or the people that I know and who they know, does this allow me to have a bigger purview of potential coaches out there?
Yeah, it gives you a national purview. And the myth that every position is already filled before it's advertised is a myth. But the truth of it is that people start searching before jobs are advertised.
Sure.
So now when they're searching, if I'm looking for a throws coach with a master's degree that has coached at Division I or Division II level, that's worked with All-Americans, and you're a member of Coach Essential and you meet those protocols, when I do the search, you come up. So whether I know you or not, you're now visible and you can be considered. And I think that's what everybody wants. It's not that, hey, give me the job. It's just give me a chance to present myself and present my information so that I can be considered.
Right. Allow me to earn that job.
Yeah. It's everybody starting at the same at the same place on the starting line, right? If you're not visible, then your chances of getting the position are highly unlikely.
Now, my experience with great head coaches on all levels, to your point there of before the job is posted, they're already searching. But even before that, the great coaches that I've had the blessing to get to know, they are always looking. They're in the business world. We talk about we're always hiring, like we're always looking for when a position does open up, not when a position opens up and starting then. Like we're always like, yeah, that person might be good. This person might be good. And all the great head coaches, they're, when they're at meets and they're talking to an assistant at such and such university, they're always thinking like, hey, would this be a good fit for my program if I ever had a position open? This seems to allow that type of coach, or people who strive to become that type of coach, kind of early research to like go around, to your point about the way you can kind of search the parameters and start looking at different people around the country.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I think about it now because as a head coach, I'm very fortunate that I've got a really good staff. I'm not trying to run any of my people off. I'm happy with them. We're actually trying to hire the next person. But when they get opportunities to move on, they get another opportunity to advance their career, I'm excited for them. Like, wow, that's amazing. And I'm excited that other coaches are looking within my program because it just says, hey, I've got good people. Right. So when I'm out at the meets and I'm watching young coaches, I'm like, well, wow, who coaches that baller? That baller has done a good job. Who is that? Right. So now if I know, I don't even have to know the coach. I'm just, so show me pole vault coaches that have coached at University of Albany. And if you remember, now I've got your information. And I've got your voice, the things that you wanted to share, and I can put you on a short list of people to consider. Hey, if I ever have to make a change, I want to remember this person. And Coach Essential allows you to do that. You can go in and generate short lists and follow people so that you're more prepared as a leader when changes do occur. And if if you aren't the leader, you're more visible early on before these decisions and before these conversations are even start happening.
Give us your thoughts on this topic we talked about at the convention. So this is a job, I don't want to call it a job seeking service. I almost want to call it a coaching professionalism service. It's raising the bottom. It's making us more and more professionals as track coaches. What about the concern about if I'm an assistant coach and I'm on there, oh man, my head coach is going to see it and they think I'm looking for another opportunity?
Yeah, we've had the comments from a number of people, and really, to be candid with you, I think it's something that we've got to get over. Mm-hmm. I mean, most head coaches were assistant coaches at one point. Some head coaches are still looking for opportunities to grow themselves. Most of us have LinkedIn pages, we have Facebook pages, we have Instagram pages, but nothing specifically dedicated to collegiate athletics for us to post our stuff. So I think it's good for the service, and anything new is going to be a little shaky, right? Mm-hmm. But I think overall it's good for the profession, and I think that everyone needs to have a chance to tell their own story and a chance to be seen. Our service is free. You can join it for free, and I think it's a great networking opportunity for coaches, not only in track and field, but coaches in any discipline or anybody that works in collegiate athletics. I think that our industry is $1 billion industry. And I think that we're going about the hiring of coaches and searching for coaches in a really antiquated way. And I really wanted to provide something that was new to the market, something that was good for the program, good for the sport, good for the industry, to help everybody have a chance to be seen and give everybody a chance to tell their own stories.
And I love that you have a super easy URL to remember as well, by the way. So it's coachescentral.com. We'll have the link down in the show notes as well as you're building this. And obviously we're talking track coaches specifically, but it's not called Track Coaches Central. It's Coaches Central. This is for baseball, lacrosse, soccer.
Yeah. I mean, what's good for the whole, right? What's good for the program? What's good for the industry? There are amazing young coaches out there. It's going to help athletic directors find next head coaches. It's going to help assistant coaches find new opportunities. But most important, it's giving everybody a chance to tell their own story, to create their own profile, and to share it. Where there have been some changes now in the NCAA. So now that when you create your Coaches Central profile, you can control it, you can edit it, you can edit it daily, upgrade it, and you can even send it to recruits. Mm-hmm. So now this is a new way for you to introduce yourself. A lot of times at smaller institutions, they're particularly they're a little understaffed. Mm-hmm. So sports information can't get around to do everything, but this gives you a tool that you can manage, and it's right there in your hand.
I love that. That kind of came out of left field for me. I love that aspect of the recruiting, as I'm a big believer in the better that you can get to know the recruit and vice versa. Because now, I'm so glad, Harlis, that I stopped coaching before social media, before cell phones, and before NIL. And I'm a supporter of NIL, but I don't know how you keep your head on straight with everything that's going on. It's wild, wild west out there right now for that stuff, man. But I do believe that the better the athletes get to know you and your program as a recruit, I have to believe in my heart of hearts that will reduce the number of transfers you have out of your program. So I love this aspect of like, hey, here I am, nuts and bolts, warts and all. You've got to decide that I'm the right person for you as a coach. And so this is another avenue for that. I didn't even think about that. That's really unique.
Yeah. I think it's similar to what you guys are doing, what you're doing with Gill Athletics with these podcasts. This is a chance for you to get to know the coach a little better. Mm-hmm. Right? Who is this guy? You can look at the school website, but really, who are they? What are they about? What's their personality? It really brings the person to life, right? We talk about virtually putting you in the room where decisions are being made. Mm-hmm. And this is your chance to do that.
Yeah. Our age demographics tells us that recruits right now en masse are not listening to our podcast, which I don't know if that just means 17 and under people are just not listening to podcasts at all. But I guarantee you, if I was being recruited by Colgate and first of all, I'd Google you, just like you're talking about, you're at the mercy of Google. I would 100% Google. And if I saw you were interviewed on a podcast, I would 1,000% listen to it. Cause I was like, I'm putting my 4 years, hopefully, into this guy. I better learn more about him. So, but But I also want to make sure that coaches, because I don't want them to have that thought process when we interview either, right? Because I want open and authenticity, and I love your openness and authenticity. Karen Dennis at Ohio State, floored me when she was talking about going from a UNLV to Ohio State. And I was like, so why'd you leave? And, you said you had a good thing going. She's like, well, I was fired. And I was like, wow, she did not have to say that at all. You did not have to talk about how, the way UNC ended. I just love, to me, that says more about you and your character and Karen's character, right? It's like open, honest. Hey, here's what happened. Here's how we move forward. I'm prospering. We're all prospering. We're moving forward. But I do love that aspect of the recruiting. So you said, so it's coachescentral.com. Like I said, links down in the show notes here. And it'll probably be, I'll be shooting it out on Twitter, of course, because that's where I live my life. They talk about the metaverse. I'm already there. I'm on Twitterverse. That's where I live my life. But you said it's free to join. So talk to us about how do you join? Like, is there a simple join button, and how difficult, if I'm going to start right now creating my account, what do you think roughly the time commitment is to get this thing up and running?
So if you're going to start, I'd recommend getting your resume out so that it's easily accessible, and finding the picture of yourself that you really like. That's going to give you that winning smile. It's going to take you probably 20 to 30 minutes to do to do it, right? Yeah. So you get a chance to input your data. The system is user friendly. The things that may take you a little bit more time is creating the videos, right? So the videos can be created on your phone. Some people have hired more professional people to do it, but you want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. It's really easy to use. Again, we've got a couple of different packages. The base package is free for anybody to use, because we want everybody to have a voice. The other packages will cost you a little bit more, and it provides you some additional services. But the fundamentals that everybody needs, we're making it free to the market. We just want to get people using it, and so they can also see the benefit of it.
Harlis, you're a head coach. You've been a head coach. You're a great throws coach. You have a family. I assume somewhere you have a personal life. You have interest in friends outside of track. Why at this stage of your career are you taking on, this is a big challenge. You mentioned all the challenges of getting this thing up and going. Why now? What's the reasoning for you behind this?
I've got other people helping me with this, so it's not truly just my project. So I'm a voice, I'm a contributor, but there are a lot of other people doing a lot of behind the scenes work. But when I went through a coaching transition, it helped me see the need for it. And as I look around now at other coaches, as we continue to hire coaches and look for coaches, there was nothing like it specifically for collegiate athletics. And again, with Coach Craddock and Coach Long and other people say, hey, what's good for the program? What's good for the sport? How can we give back to everybody? How can we help everybody advance? And we feel like this was a tool and a service that everyone could benefit from. So we're excited about it.
Well, I'm a fan. My heart and passion and our whole why, our mission statement here at Gill Athletics, it is 100% about the coaches. And me personally, as a former coach myself, it's all about lifting up the professionalism of coaches. This isn't a hobby job. No other profession, accountants, doctors, store clerks, business owners go about our business in some of the ways that we do, unfortunately, in track and field, specifically coaching. So anything that we can lift up professionalism, lift up salaries, lift up contracts, stability is always a good thing. And people getting other jobs, because that's, moving up in the ranks and getting more money for you and your family, and maybe coming back home, things like that. Those are all extremely important. So when you first introduced this to me, it was like, oh, this is a no-brainer. This is a helper for our track coaches out there. So I highly recommend, even if you have doubts, let's say you got 100% doubts and you're like, no, this is just LinkedIn. And by the way, I've been on both. I'm big on LinkedIn as well. This is not the same. It's actually better in that sense of what we're trying to accomplish here, what they're trying to accomplish here through Coach Essential. Go check it out. Just be a little curious. Just go check it out before you just say no. Go to coachessential.com, mess around with it. It's free for just to have a thing, right? So just nothing ever is bad for free. that may be actually not be true, but in this case, this is not, go taste Coaches Central and check it out and see how it might help you. And then, I love that it's not, my heart and soul is track coaches, but I love that it's other coaches. I know you have friends, a volleyball coach, a soccer coach, baseball, softball, lacrosse, field hockey, bowling. We got all these coaches out here. Spread the word, because, I'm track focused, so we're only gonna be talking to track coaches, but I'd love to see coaches in general get the due that they're due out there for all the things they do for young people out there. So Harlis, man, thank you so much, not only for being here today, but, when we get to this age and stage of our career, we have something that we didn't have as a 23-year-old rookie coach at Florida State, and that's perspective. Right. We've been through processes. We've been through interviews. We've been through running our own programs. We've had this up and this down. And now at this age, we're able to look back and go, man, if I could have done something different, it would have been X, Y, and Z. So I love that you're utilizing that experience to give back to others. And that's ultimately what Coaches Central and what you did as a consultant for the Colgate program. And now as the head coach of that program, you're giving back to others and giving value to others. And that's ultimately, again, legacy. And that's one of the most important things out there. And you're leaving to use a UNC term here, a big footprint, which is the weirdest thing in the world, but I love it, out there for track and field coaches.
Well, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you helping us share Coaches Central with the rest of the community out there. And I appreciate Gill Athletics, because I think you're doing some of the same thing. By having these coaches on here, I'm glad to be selected. You're giving us a chance to tell our own stories, getting people to know, getting a chance to know the coach behind the coach, and helping people advance throughout the profession. So thanks to Gill Athletics, and thank you, Mike, for having me on.
Well, you nailed it. Your story matters, whether you are at Colgate, UNC, the Western, it does not matter where you are. If you're a track coach, your story matters. And it's just, it's one of the best parts of my job. It is the best part of my job, to be real frank, is sitting down with coaches for an hour plus and really learning their story. And I'm just so humbled and happy that you shared yours with us today.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Harlis.
Thanks, Mike. What an incredible journey Coach has been on. So awesome to hear their story in their own words. Tremendous proof of the positive effects coaches make on a daily basis. Help us spread the word of this great journey by sharing on your favorite social media channel. And don't forget to take a minute to rate and review the podcast. You just might get a shout out on a future episode. That's it for today. Join us next week when we'll connect you with another amazing coach.